Tell us your crazy cab driver stories. I'll start. Part 2. Please like and subscribe to support this channel. I'm a taxi driver in New York City, and some weird shit has happened to me in my time. Once, a senator running for the presidential nomination came into my cab, and he asked me what I thought was wrong with the city. Another time, a husband whose wife was cheating on him had me drive him to the house of her lover, and then he described to me how he was going to kill her with his .44 Magnum. But the weirdest thing I've ever done was when I met this 12-year-old child prostitute and ended up saving her by killing her pimp. I'm Chinese and boarded a cab with a Muslim Malay friend of mine. That was back in the 9/11 period. The driver was bad-mouthing Islam in Mandarin. Clearly I can understand, and I told him that he has a huge misconception and religion*harmony is utmost importance in my country. Thereafter, he went on to English, and clearly my friend was disgusted by his comment, but we are in the middle of the highway. So, we got to our destination and I told my friend to get off the cab first. Thereafter, I went on to yell at the motherfucking in Mandarin that he should get the fuck out of this country and get his ass into China if he is not keen in mixing with other religion. Shit got hot and a lot of shirt pulling. So my Malay friend tried to come back into the cab and pull me out. So. I walk a distance but he was still shouting from his window about how much a bastard I was. I walked back, grabbed onto his keys, switched off the engine and threw the key onto the middle of a busy road. We took off immediately. That was fun. I've traveled a lot and had many a strange cab ride, mostly in foreign countries, but the one that comes to mind was a ride from the airport in Philadelphia to the hotel. I have no memory of the hotel as we were on a tour bus the next day. But I will never forget the Rastaman cabbie who gave me one of the most entertaining rides I think I've ever had. He's driving like a madman through the streets of Philly yelling out on a PA speaker on the roof of his cab, "No license, no insurance, get out of my way." Meanwhile he's holding down intelligent conversation with me and obviously enjoying himself. Yeah, he got a good tip. I got a cab back from seeing a band one night. As we got to my suburb, the cabbie casually says that he used to date a girl around here, back in the 70s. She lived there, yeah, in that house. Haha, oh yeah, slept with her twin sister a few times too. And their mother. That was a crazy 3 weeks. I don't remember the band I saw that night, but I'll always remember being in awe of that boss cab driver. For some reason I was listening repeatedly to the song, Real American, which is Hulk Hogan's theme song. I hopped in a cab and proceeded to start blasting it on my iPhone mini speakers. After about 30 seconds the cabbie turns around and asks if that was Real American. I said it was, and I noticed the guy is wearing a yellow bandana. He asks for the phone, connects it to the cab speakers, rolls down the windows, and we ride around for the next 10 minutes blasting Hulk Hogan's theme song. Classic. This was in a village in China. We had been eating a meal and it was late, so we were going to call a cab to come pick us up. We knew this guy and had his card, and before we went to eat we told him he'd need to come get us later. He picked up and sounded surprised, all the while I hear laughter and the clinking of glasses in the background. Finally he goes, "Oh, okay. I'll send someone over." We wait outside of the restaurant and all of a sudden this cab comes barreling out of nowhere and pulls up so close we have to step back to avoid being hit. We get in the cab and the guy starts driving. Then suddenly he looks back at us and goes, "You guys like to drink?" Excitedly. We sort of laugh and say, "Haha, yeah," to which he asks, "You like beer?" We say yes and he goes, "Me too. I've had 5 or 6 already." At this point we notice he's swerving and going super fast down this dirt road at night. We get up alongside a van and start to round a corner with room for one. The guy guns it and cuts the van off, then shouts, "I win." Ha 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 ha. Honestly though, I think we were more laughing at the absurdity of the situation than outright shitting our pants. I posted this in another thread. I was with a taxi driver. I usually sit up front, and I was having a chat with the driver. I was 16 at the time. For some reason he kept on saying how he loves anal sex more than anything. I was like, "Yeah. Wouldn't know, but it's cool I guess." He then asked if I would like to hold the gear stick. Thinking it was harmless I said sure, why not. As I was holding it and changing gears while he was driving, he puts his hand on my hand and somewhat caresses it. I took my hand off and he kept continually talking about his anal sexcapades with various women, all while I kept a straight poker face till I reached my destination. I eventually got out and washed my hands for a good 15 minutes. Not sure if it's a gay experience, but it was damn creepy. I got into a cab in MacLeod one day to go meet up with my so. At first, the cab driver seemed normal. He asked me where I wanted to go and we proceeded to go there. A few minutes into the ride, I noticed he had a mannerism of stamping his foot every time we crossed a speed bump and was scratching his head in frustration quite often. We get stuck at a red light and to my surprise, the guy falls asleep immediately. I try to wake him up and it takes a good whole minute to do so. All the while the cars behind us start beeping because we aren't moving as the light turns green. He wakes up and says, "Oh, sorry, I dozed off right there." I think to myself, no shit Sherlock. I'm really desperate to get to my destination at this point and I decide not to drop off and find another taxi. Big mistake. As we near our destination, the guy starts turning corners at 100 km/h. We're literally drifting our corners. I'm shitting bricks now and I tell him to slow down. He starts thumping now and is stiffening his posture and slumping down at odd intervals, all the while mumbling. Thankfully, I reach my destination safe and pay the guy and leave. I catch the taxicab's company number and give them a call later, threatening to call the police on them if they don't do something about the driver. TLDR got into the cab of a crazy, drugged-up driver and almost died. Well, initially I wasn't a part of this story, but I come into it towards the end. A bit more than 20 years ago, my mom was pregnant, and going into labor, GFU. My dad, Troll Dad, who was a resident at a hospital at the time, insisted that they take a cab to his hospital, rather than the nearest one. This was in New York, though, so it wasn't that far. My parents promised the driver, "Don't worry, we won't deliver the baby in the cab." This turned out to be an empty promise. While the cab's speeding down the West Side Highway, eventually my mom realizes that she is going to deliver the baby in the cab. My dad, who brought some towels just in case, fortunately was prepared for this and had the expertise necessary to be on the receiving end. Fortunately, all three of us made it without further incident to the hospital, and we made sure to tip the cab driver generously. One of my goals in life is to find him again. Well, this isn't, exactly, a cab driver story, but it's where I was more or less forced to drive somebody somewhere. This was near the end of high school, and I went to a school that had some pretty bad thugs in it. I can fend for myself, but sometimes the best fight, or attempted carjacking, is one you simply avoid. Anyways, school's out, I'm walking to my car. Candy blue Subaru WRX, which I still own to this day. Laughing face, and as I'm setting into the driver's seat, some dude I know as huge trouble knocks on my glass. I crack the window, to at least to not be a complete pussy and peel out of there as soon as I see a black guy. Yeah. Yo foo, gimme a fucking ride. I said gimme a fucking ride, bitch. Take a look over this guy. Normally he's wearing all sorts of baggy jeans and a backpack, but it looks like he just got out of gym class, t-shirt and shorts, and no room to really hide anything dangerous. Sure, hop in the back. He gets in. Now, I was a little late leaving school because I had to talk to a teacher about some project. By the time this was going down, the place is pretty much deserted. Also keep in mind, I know for a fact this guy thinks he is the next thug of the year. I've seen him beat up on other students, and he has bullied my friends before. Stay your bleeding heart. Pause soon as his ass hits the seat. I slam the car forward and do an immediate hard turn, burning the tires and swinging the car around. I didn't even give him a chance to pull the door shut, I shut it for him. Now, mind you, I have a 6-point. He hasn't even gotten his dot on yet. And he has a roll bar to contend with if he wants to try and get at me in the driver's seat. So, with this all in mind, I figured I'd introduce him to my good friend Centrifugal Force, and as Top Gear puts it, put his eyeballs in the spin cycle. Smiley face. I more or less spent my monthly tire budget in the next 5 minutes showing him how fun it is being pinned to one door or the other in the backseat of a car, drifting around trash cans and weaving in and out of parking pylons all over the back lot of the school. Which is pretty big. By about the 32nd minute mark, Mr. Badass School Thug was screaming like a little girl, crying actual tears, and begging to be let out of the car. Once he is blubbering like a 2-year-old who just had his security blankie yanked away, I come to a casual stop right at the exit of the parking lot. "Oh, sorry. I thought you wanted a ride. Get the fuck out of my car." He scrambled out, fell down from being dizzy and promptly puked all over himself. I added a little insult to injury and smoked him one more time on my way out. That guy didn't bother anybody in my group after that. I'm pretty sure he was afraid if I was given any motivation I would tell the story about how he cried like a little girl, etc. Asterisk car. Thousands upon thousands of dollars. Asterisk driving courses. Thousands more. Asterisk tires. Several $100s a set. Asterisk beating down the school thug bully with your backseat till he pukes all over himself. Priceless. Edit. Jesus H. Fuck. One little, way back when, story and the red detectives come flying out of the woodwork with as many lame off-base assumptions as they can muster. Look kids, I know trolling when I see it. Next one of you tardfags is going to ask for photos, or a track meet, or to see some kind of proof. And you know what? You ain't getting it. Nope. I like my privacy, and I frankly question why anybody in their right mind would want to meet somebody, send photos to, or otherwise ident confirm with someone who has basically no interest in them whatsoever other than to try and poo-poo them in some kind of nerd points crusade. If you don't believe the story? Fine, whatever. I feel nothing for you. Really I don't. But the second you start calling me a liar? Trying to fester through old posts and piece together misquoted, misread and misinterpreted or twisted words in favor of some kind of pitchfork attack. No, fuck you, and fuck the horse that rode you in, too. My dad was a cab driver in Boston during the 1970s. He recalls cruising through a particularly hairy section of town when he turned down a random road and was suddenly enveloped by a huge angry mob. 2 blocks down the street, there was another Boston cab upside down, on fire. The mob started gesturing towards him, and rioters began sprinting towards his cab. The road was completely full of people, so he threw the cab into reverse and piloted it multiple blocks away at warp speed. He has no doubts that he would have been toast if he had stuck around a moment longer. This is one of many absurdly awesome cab stories he has. I can only hope to be half as awesome as my dad. This story is called, Gorillas in the Mistaback Story. My friends and I were in Atlanta, for our annual Braves weekend when we'd catch a couple games. We woke up late on Sunday and were quite hungover from the night before, so we missed the Sunday game. Our flights were not until Monday. The logical thing to do was go to a strip club. We chose the Pink Pony South. We took 2 cars, and had every intention to drive both home. That went out the window when we discovered it was happy hour until 9 p.m. and it was only 2. We became quite intoxicated. Our wealthy pharmacist friend is a hairy obese Indian with a heart of gold. He also spends money like it's going out of style. He buys us all steak dinners, he orders bottle service of Grey Goose, he goes to the ATM and takes out hundreds of dollars and gives us all $200 each and says, "Let's go make it rain on some strappers." We do just that, we own the joint. Women are fawning over us the entire time we're there. You see where this is going. Our gorilla-looking friend, we'll call him Aziz, has spent thousands of dollars in this short amount of time. He eventually succumbs to the drink and gets sick in the restroom. The bouncers frown upon this and ask he and my friends politely to leave. I am in the middle of getting a series of lap dances from anonymous big-breasted women, so I didn't see the bathroom dust up. My friend comes over and says, "We gotta go, since I'm having somebody's daughter gyrate all over me for money." I reply, "I'm a little busy right now." He says, "I see that. Meet me outside when you're done." I get outside to find Aziz in the grass next to his car in fetal position next to a pile of his own vomit. My friends have hatched a drunken plan while I was finishing my lap dance. They don't want the night to end just yet, so they want to go to the Mexican restaurant next door and get dinner and margaritas. It's only 10 p.m. at this point. Aziz is clearly too besotted for Mexican food, so I was tasked with getting him back to the apartment we were crashing at on the north side of Atlanta, 45 minutes away. I'm given a large sum of cash for the fare and tip, because we know it's going to get pricey. My phone is dead, so my friends type the address into Aziz's iPhone. We heft Aziz into a minivan cab, and off we go. We're in the cab with this absolutely cool cat of a cabbie. He is from Namibia and fancies himself to be a bit of a jazzman. He is wearing a zoot suit, a fedora that makes Humphrey Bogart look like Justin Timberlake. And his shoes, I can only describe them as the swinginest shoes this side of the Mississippi. We are cruising along, listening to some jazz. Aziz passed out in the back seat. We're almost to Midtown Atlanta. When a rumbling occurs in the backseat, a wild Aziz is stirring. "I'm gonna throw up," he groans. Having seen him throw up in a cab before, I take this threat very seriously. I tell our cabbie to stop so Aziz can get sick. I apologize profusely and give him some singles to smooth the tension. We stop at a gas station in a very dicey part of Atlanta. I try to get Aziz out. He refuses, saying, "No, just let me throw up out of the van." I undo his seatbelt and toss him into the grass. I ask the cabbie if he wants a soda. He requests a cherry Coke. I apologize and give him more singles, then go buy his drink. Come back out. Aziz didn't throw up, and feels better. We heft him back into the cab and we're rolling. Fast forward to Aziz pulling the same stunt 2 more times, not throwing up either time. I would have thrown us out by now, but I'm still shelling out singles like I'm still in stripper mode. We finally get to the apartment. I have no idea how long it took. Remember, I'm drunk. The fare is something astronomical. We've been stopping and starting for a good bit of time. I no longer have enough cash to pay the entire fare. I think it over. My buddies are laughing, eating delicious fajitas at a place I imagine to be Casa Bonita, and sipping on margaritas. I can either pay the rest myself, or Aziz can pay. Aziz is fucking paying. I wrest his wallet out of his pocket and give the man a credit card. We're in the process of finishing the transaction when Aziz fucking bolts off into the dark of the apartment complex. Gorillas in the Mist styles. I mutter, "Oh hell," and finish the credit card transaction. Grab Aziz's phone, thank the cabbie and take off. I am able to finally corner Aziz. He bolts again. I give chase and tackle him, ripping my jeans and skinning my knee. I drag Aziz into the apartment where he proceeds to throw up with impunity. My friends arrive soon after with hot apple pies and double cheeseburgers from McDonald's for me. I share the tale with them, and we dub the evening Gorillas in the Mist. The end. This isn't crazy so much as sweet. I hailed a cab in Rome to take a couple of friends and me from the train station to a small hotel we were staying at. The driver was a nice-looking 40-year-old woman. Turns out she didn't know where the street was. We were stopped at a light on a big Roman thoroughfare, Via del Corso. Probably, when she rolled down the window and waved at a taxi in the lane next to us. She leaned out the window and had a short conversation with the other driver in Italian about where the hotel was. She rolled up the window. "That's my papa," she said, beaming.